Welcome everyone to this week's Tim Talks. I am so excited to see the video run again. I liked it so much, I wanted to see it again. No, in all seriousness, thank you so much for joining, and thank you, you people out there that are so faithful and tune in live. And you also are the people that take this video and send it and resend it on social media again, and again. So just really excited about today. You know, this is an amazing business as you get to meet people. And as we always say on Tim Talks, no one is smarter than everyone. And there are certain aspects of digital marketing that, quite frankly, look, I am definitely not the smartest guy in the room. You know, we talk about that all the time. You know, when you want to make a difference in especially your home, but in your workplace, if you walk into every meeting, every conversation wanting to learn something. And Brian Toole started talking to me about what he was doing with geofencing literally over a year ago. And Brian has been a digital marketer in the automotive space for many, many years. What he has done with the Gates Automotive Group is nothing less than phenomenal, way up there in Notre Dame country. Sorry, are you Ohio State fans and everybody else surrounding Notre Dame, but up there in South Bend, beautiful South Bend. Last time I was with Brian, I got a picture with Touchdown Jesus. It was epic. I loved it. But that's a big introduction to, we're excited today to really unpack what he's doing with OTT, what he's doing with geofencing. And Brian, I'm just so excited to introduce you, Brian Toole, of the founder of, will you say that correctly? Carpathic,
Yes.
not Carpathetic, not Carpathetic,
Yes.
Carpathic.
Yes.
Give us a story about Carpathic really quick. As I noticed, Brian, there is I believe a ship right behind you. Is there any subliminal message that ship is representing? But I've heard this story, and I think our listeners want to hear this story. So share the story with us of how you came up with the name of your company.
Well, several years ago, you know, I've been doing geofencing for a long time, and I kind of knew that this could turn into something bigger than what I was doing just in and of myself. And I thought, man, I got to think of a name. I got to start branding this. And I couldn't come up with anything. I was just searching and tried bounce ideas off people. They didn't like that, blah, blah, blah. I just went through it multiple times. And then we were, as a family in Branson, Missouri, going through the Titanic exhibit. And finally, at one of those, I finally got a chance to stop and read some of the material there. Because when you have kids, you just got to move on from one touchy exhibit to the next one, and
right.
You know what I mean, the attention span of 5 seconds. But I stopped and was able to read some of the information on there, and the ship that they called for help was called Carpathia. And when I read that, it just clicked with me that there's a lot of ad agencies out there that are like the big Titanics. They're really big. They can do a lot of stuff, but they can't turn on a dime for clients, and are not as agile as smaller boats. And this little ship, Carpathia, was the one that came to save the day. And Carpathia, as a brand, as the name was already taken, so I just kind of tweaked it to Carpathic and thought that was sounded better anyway, and was able to reserve the domain name and so forth. But I keep this model, Titanic, in my office to remind me of who my competition is that I'm fighting against every day.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love especially, just so you guys know, this is, Tim Talks isn't a place where, friends come and we hang out and we promote them and what they're doing. There has to be dealer feedback that says, yes, this is working. Yes, this has been phenomenal, because we don't want, we did, look, not being pious, but we do have, Holly Ann knows this, that we have a lot of people reaching out and wanting media outlets, and that's great, and we're happy to do that. But what he is doing, what Brian is doing with combining OTT and geofencing, and combining that and working with some of the big third parties on some stuff that they really haven't been able to do. But I want to get into that. But let's just start. And I know you have a screen share, but let's just start with people out there, and I talk to Brian Pash about this all the time. And a lot of his seminars are, self-proclaimed deep dives. And we've talked about that. And they are really, really deep dives of veterans in the marketing space. But for people like me, obviously now we can deep dive, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I first started getting behind the desk, well, gosh, I guess it's been almost 20 years ago now. There's a lot of things that I didn't know. Obviously, 20 years ago, geofencing wasn't out there, or OTT or anything like that. But there wasn't things I knew. And to have somebody like you, and again, that's in the breadth of Tim Talks. We want to get better together. So let's just first start with what is geofencing? Can you let us know to that first time person that's buying third party ad space, alpha ads and all this other stuff with all the trader and cars. Give us a brief explanation of both geofencing and OTT.
Sure. Well, geofencing is a confusing term to a lot of people, because Google is out there saying, if you draw a fence around your dealership and anyone within a mile that comes into that area, you can pop up a coupon in their wallet and things like that, and a digital wallet. And so when I say geofencing, I've talked with a lot of dealers. Oh yeah, I tried that. It doesn't work. And then once I start to kind of understand exactly what they tried, it's nothing what I'm doing right now. So let's see here. Let me try and share the screen and get this slide up just so that people can see it. So can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. So what I work with dealers, there's two primary ways to use geofencing to help build an audience. And again, that's the key. You want to get your message, whatever it is, in front of in-market shoppers or in front of the right audience. So to me, audience is always the key that you start with advertising. But there's two primary ways to use geofencing to do that. One is conquesting. And let me switch. So here's a shot of what I'm talking about. You have an automotive row. You've got all these dealers. Those blue boxes around those dealership lots, we go in and we build a target fence. And then if a customer or a prospect or a suspect goes into that area, anywhere in that blue area, with their cell phone and they have GPS turned on, we can pick up that device ID. We know they're on that lot in that blue box for a reason. Either they're going to buy a car or they're going to service a car. You don't just hang out at car dealerships for no reason. So there's two reasons why you're there. That's a captive audience. We want to capture those people because they're in the market. Now, we don't know why they're there. We don't know. I mean, they could be for service. They could be sales. I don't know each individual, but we do know that device is there for a reason. Okay. So then that device leaves. We can instantaneously start serving up ads to that device that was inside that fence. And then if that same device ID comes back to the showroom, which is the orange box there, then we can track that. And we know this device was at Laurel BMW in Westmont, and then it came over to Napleton Porsche. And we know that they got an ad. So that is the conquest way of geofencing.
Real quick, in a lot of dealers, I immediately think a lot of dealers are going to say, well, heck, Brian, they're already in my store. Why do I need this? Right? They're already in my store. And you're going to tell me they're in your store. Number one, based on privacy laws and geofencing, you can't tell exactly who it is. You just know that that person was on a cars.com site or an Auto Trader site or wherever they were, wherever you drew the geofence, and now they're there. I will tell you, as far as Car Now history, there's been time and time again, and I know there's a few of our people listening now that, you know, a customer, Mr. Dealer or Mr. Sales Manager, what you think about this, you know, maybe somebody was just on your lot. It was a busy Saturday. Maybe they didn't get greeted correctly. Look, it happens. They go to another lot. You get tagged, but at the same time, they go back in and you reach back out with, you know, our tool or another tool and send them a quick text and bring them back in. There's been many times that has happened. So something like this, if used correctly, is absolutely powerful. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I just wanted to because I know that's going through people's brains. Well, hey, if they're already in my dealership, why do I need this? So what was point number 2 before I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Oh, and actually to kind of feed off of that, some of the pushback that we got early on from dealers was, hey, they're already at my competition. They're already at the store. It's too late. You know what I mean? I've lost them. And I used to think, you know, that statistic that Google likes to throw out there, that people only visit 1.4, I think it's way higher than that.
It's bullcrap.
Yeah.
To use a nice Kentucky term, there's no way. And listen, what Brian's referring to, and look, I used to preach that venom 5 years ago when I didn't know any better, because that's what Google said. It's an absolute lie. What Brian's referring to is Google said or put out a report 6 or 7 years ago that said people shop 3.4 dealerships, 3 to 4 dealerships, 4 to 5 websites ish, and they're only and they're going to only physically visit 1.4. Well, I'm from Kentucky, and my math says if they're only going to visit, if they visit 4 or 5 websites and only come into 1.4, then every dealership in America's closing ratio should be about 75%. Is that math correct? I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, again, I interrupted you. Continue, but this stuff gets me fired up.
Good. That's good. So this is one of the ways we've been using geofencing for years. It's a common practice, primarily with display ads. And because there's a lot of available inventory on apps, on browsers, you can get them onto mobile devices pretty easily, and it's relatively inexpensive. So it's a captive audience, you know they're in market, and you're targeting those people that are at your competition, conquest. The second way is through first-party CRM data. So we can actually upload a list with addresses from your CRM, the tool will automatically build a fence around the plot line of that person's home. And then we can track how many devices from that campaign come back to your store. So if you have a service retention issue, if you've got a bucket of people that are leases are coming up, however you want to define that marketing list, that audience that you're going after, we can now target specific ads just to those people in home. And so traditionally, conquesting and addressable geofencing have been used with display ads. But now what we're able to do is that same audience, whether from the home or whether from the store, we can take that, and because they go home on a home Wi-Fi network, the system will do what's called a cross-match or device cross-matching. It will look to see how many devices on that home Wi-Fi network are all connected to one another. And so we can reach display ads on the desktop, on the tablet, and on the cell phones that are all in there. But guess what else is also connected on that home Wi-Fi network? What's the biggest screen in the home?
TV.
Absolutely. So you've got thousands and thousands of connected TVs now that are on a home Wi-Fi network that through a device being in a conquest target fence, your competition, that goes home. We've already picked up this device ID. Then we recognize that it's on a home Wi-Fi. We pick up all the other devices that are on that network, and we can start serving up video creative to every single device in there, including the large screen TV. So that's
what you're saying, and let me get this straight. So what you're saying is, if that is within the fence, they come home and they go to and by the way, Sarah Fisher is blowing my phone up, chirping, basically saying preach. But anyway, that's good stuff. You know, you could tee up the OTT while they're in the house. I know I've heard, you know, I believe it. I've heard Sarah Fisher say it a zillion times. You are now saying a zillion, well, not a zillion, but you can, this is great stuff. This is really good stuff. So that's how you're tying in the OTT, correct?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The platform then picks up the device that was in the fence, or that, we have the home address. That's really easy to do, the home address one. But it just picks up the device, and then it looks for any devices that are on that home network that's there very frequently. So we're not going to pick up people that stop by to say hi or have a cup of coffee or anything like that. Those are considered infrequent. But the frequent devices, I'm telling you, the data's out there. The data is out there, and we know how many connected devices are in homes and how to target them. All that inventory as far as ad space is available. And one of the things that I want to try to attempt, and it's very difficult, is try to explain what OTT is. It's a very confusing space right now. And if you go talk to 5-10 companies that sell OTT, you might get 5 to 10 different definitions. The simple definition is over the top, basically meaning that they can serve up content over a cable box and bypass the whole cable box and all of the proprietary connections that the cable company used to have. It kind of bypasses all of that. That's kind of where the over the top came from. But OTT is confusing because you've got large screen devices, you have small screen devices, you have long format shows, you have small format shows. Right now, if a dealer came to me and said, hey, I want to be on HGTV, CNN, ESPN, and Fox News, I can literally get them on those probably 50 different ways, whether they're through a Roku device, a Comcast device, a connected TV that has apps built into the app, on somebody's website, on the ESPN app themselves. There's a million ways to get ESPN right now. There's a million ways to get CNN. There's a million ways to get this. And now you've got streaming devices or streaming companies starting to produce original content. So the lines are getting very blurred in the whole OTT space. And so what I try and help dealers try and focus on is, let's focus on your connected TV. That typically is where long format content is watched. I'm not saying you can't watch it on small devices. My wife watches a lot of Korean drama shows on her iPad. So she watches, that's where she can get away from the kids. That's like her little alone time. She watches a lot of long format on her iPad. But traditionally, most of it is on large screens, connected TVs. And the nice thing about that is that it's unskippable. When you run a 30-second or 15-second ad on a large screen, you can't skip it. So that your video completion rate is going to be very, very high on a large screen, because someone spent, they sit down Friday night, they want to watch something, and they're scrolling through this, and they're looking for reruns of shows or this. They spend 15, 20 minutes trying to find something. They finally get a chance to watch it. They're not going to turn it off and just walk away like they can with the mobile device. So your video completion rate on a large screen typically is very, very high. And if any vendor is out there selling to dealers the value of a video completion rate on a large screen, you need to question that, because of course it's going to be high. If they're using that as a selling point, red flag should be going up, because you can't skip ads on a large screen device. What you can't do is click on it. That's where sending content to a small device is valuable. So it's a very confusing space. A lot of guys call it the wild, wild west of advertising right now, because you have all these acronyms with it. You have different formats, long format, short format, different size screens. Then you have what's called video online. And that tends to be short segments. You want to go to your local news TV station and pick up a news story, a little clip, or even ESPN has little clips, and they sell inventory space before that. So you've got video online, you've got long format, short format, big screens, small screens. Somewhere in all that is the mix of what OTT really is. And so I don't know if that confused or helped, but
No, it helps, but I'm putting my, sorry about that. I'm getting approaching 50 and I'm falling apart. My shoulder just literally, anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Pray for me, Brian. Anyway, look, I'm putting my dealer hat on, and that all sounds nice, and it sounds pretty, Brian. How, question that we ask on Tim Talks all the time, how do we measure it? I get this, but how do I tag this? How do I, how do I tag this into my Google Analytics or my VistaDash or my Clairvoy or my source report on my CRM? So obviously you've done a lot of work there at Gates and South Bend and others, other companies. I know about that. So how do you measure this to make sure that what you're preaching now, a dealer can actually measure, so maybe they go out further in their geofencing landscape?
Correct. Well, let me just first start by saying, I think it's when there's so many options out there with the OTT space, I try and help my clients focus first on audience. I personally don't care what you are watching. If you're on my competitor's lot, you could be watching horror movies, you know what I mean? Or you could be in the
American
DIY.
pickers like me. Anyway.
Yeah, you could be watching Kentucky history, you know what I mean? I don't care what content you watch. What I care about is getting my ad in front of you because I know you were on that lot. So I try and get people that don't focus on the channels, don't focus on the domains where you can try and get your inventory. Focus on getting your message in front of that person, because you don't know what they like. You don't know what they read or what they watch or what content they consume. The focus should be getting your message in front of that audience. And that's why the geofencing is so helpful. But what I like about this and the platform that I use is that we can now track devices that come back to the store that we've served OTT to, because they're all on the home Wi-Fi network. So I can literally run an OTT campaign on a large connected TV and never serve anything up to the mobile device. But the mobile device is the great connector between all of it, because we know from this what network they're on, we serve up the ads, and then this device comes back to the store. So I wanted to give you some stats, and this is fresh. I mean, I pulled this noon today. I have a dealer that is running both small screen and large screen campaigns right now. The small screen, we've served up approximately 55,000 video ads. He's spent almost a little over $1,600, and we have tracked 51 store visits so far in the month of October. And on top of that, we've gotten 465 people to go through to the landing page just from the video. So that right there is about a $32 cost per visit. I know third-party dealer or third-party companies that sell leads for $30 a lead. This is a live person on your lot that we know was at the competition for around 30 bucks. I mean, that you can't beat. Would you rather have a lead or a live person?
Or a person in my store, right?
Exactly. Now, the large screen campaigns, this is even better. The large screen for the connected TV, again, this is long format type inventory that we go after on the large screen. We've served up 12,000 TV ads. He's spent about 500 bucks so far, and we've tracked 28 store visits. That's $18 per visit. So the reason why that's important is you're wanting to get your message in front of the right audience, right? It's all about getting your message to the right person. We know people either from your first party data, your CRM, or conquesting those competitors, they're in the market. We can do OTT for a very low CPM. We can track it back to the store. And it's the same process that the large Comcast and Cars and all those people are doing, but for a much more affordable CPM rate. Now, I'm not bashing the fuel program. It's a great idea. It's a great tool. You are getting your message in front of people that were on cars.com. They are in the market. That's a great audience. The challenge that I would have as a dealer is that every proposal I've looked at from fuel is $65 to $95 CPM, whereas we're getting it in market for $35 CPM. So it's up to the dealer to decide, what's more important, getting in front of the market that's on your competition or people that are on cars.com, or do you want to do both? You know what I mean? That's so
how does a dealer, and again, going back,
I lost it. I think
sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yep, there you are.
Someone muted me. That's okay. My wife has one of those mute buttons at home. And by the way, I appreciate that Tim Talks people listen. That's true, again, except for at home. So thank you for the shout out there. I love humor and I get it. Is there a way for a dealer or somebody inside the dealership to be notified when they come into the store? Absolutely not, right?
No, because of privacy laws, we don't even
we
know.
Can't tell that person, right? I just wanted to make sure that we went over that.
Correct. And if you're going to do display ads, you can serve up display ads on this device instantly when someone's in the competition, but you can't serve up large OTT instantly because they're not at home. Nobody walks in with their connected TV into a store. So I really advise dealers doing a combination of both so that you're really getting your message in front of everybody that was in that location. So, but no, and on the home address side, they will not report down to the house level. So when you do an addressable geofencing campaign, it's always on a zip code +4. So because of privacy laws, even though you know who they are, the platform then when it produces the results won't go down all the way to the home level just because of privacy. It's a really tight, and I think that's why I have begged third-party companies for years. Guys, I only want one report from you, just one. How many people saw my inventory on your site, and did this device that saw that inventory come to my lot? That's all I care about. And I think they're struggling with privacy issues, trying to figure out, how to accomplish that. Because at the end of the day, showroom visits is what it's about. That you have to get people here to the store.
Would it be possible for you to do physical addresses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. So, and the more targeted that those lists are, like if you put people into certain buckets, so to speak, that like have bought but never serviced, service that never bought, lease retention, retention, whatever bucket you want to put people in, then you can target that ad to those people so that the relevancy factor of the message goes way up.
This is Terry Neal. I don't know if you've seen it. She says, this is crazy. So there is, look, the great thing about what we do every week and just our automotive space, there are people that are hearing this and they know all about it and they can unpack it. And I've received several texts as we're talking and they know a lot of ins and outs, but there are a lot of people that don't and that need to understand it. I would say, everybody knows I'm in love with my Jeep Wrangler JL Rubicon. And, if I'm not working or loving on my family, I'm looking to do something or go something with that silly Rubicon. And I get targeted all the time. I get targeted all the time. It's you can say it's weird, it's creepy, but guess what? It works. I'll click back on, I'll make that appointment. I will buy that piece, whatever that is, I will absolutely do it. Let's land the plane. Is there any final thoughts? Because by the way, we've got a giveaway for AAAS that I want to get to that we promised you, all the people that registered for Tim Talks as we continue to have giveaways. And thank you, Mariana, for the funny text. I appreciate that. But let's go ahead and any final thoughts? We're going to have you back on. In fact, I'd love to have you and put a panel together with some of the best and brightest as we continue to try to get better together. But let's land the plane, Brian, my friend. Any final thoughts?
A couple things that I want to make sure that I point out. One, geofencing is not a silver bullet. This works because dealers are doing a whole bunch of other advertising as well. And you can drive a bunch of people to your showroom, but if you still don't have a good process in the store, none of the advertising you do is going to really be very helpful. So you've got to have a complete picture with what you're doing, and it frustrates me. You know, I deal with a lot of third party vendors, and they get frustrated as well because they can't sell the car.
Right.
All marketing's job is to create opportunities.
Right.
And we're trying to create the best opportunities by getting your message in front of the right people at the right time. And that's why geofencing has been so helpful. But at the end of the day, you have to sell the car. And if you don't have that complete process, you know what I mean? I can drive make the phone ring and drive traffic to your store as much as I want. But if you don't have that process, it's not going to do much good. So that, I just want to make sure we got that out. The second thing here that I don't know if you know where this came from. You know who he is, but I don't know if you recognize it. But you know, when you're dealing with third parties, even dealing with CarNow or whoever, everybody has an agenda. Everyone has an agenda that they're trying to accomplish. And I'd like to encourage people to always check your intent before your content. When you're advertising, check your intent.
Writing that down.
Check what is your intention? What are you trying to accomplish? Be careful that it's not self-serving agendas. Check your intent before you put out your content. You know who said that?
Nope.
Ravi.
Wow.
Yeah. Check your intent before your content. So
I thought I listened to everything he ever did. I guess not.
Yep. I used to tell people that everyone has an agenda, and then a buddy of mine, not you, but a different guy, said, "Oh yeah, you know, Ravi Zacharias says it like this: check your intent before your content." I'm like,
I traveled with the man a couple times. Anyway,
yeah, I'm like, that's
it is
stellar.
what it is.
It's stellar. So the last thing I just want to share is if you're responsible for advertising or for marketing the car dealership, start with audience. Focus on audience first. Who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? And then once you know who that is, let your goals then drive the creative and the messaging and all that stuff. Once you know who your audience is.
Brian, just amazing stuff. So happy that we got you on here, and just to explain what you're doing so successfully there at Gates Automotive and many other. And I know that you're doing some of this stuff for some third-party vendors. I know that there's companies out there that are using you as well. I don't know the agreement you have with them, so I will keep their names quiet. But listen, I would encourage you, if you need help with this, please reach out to Brian. Listen, some of this stuff, if you're a company and need his help, please reach out to Brian as well. And just so thankful that you and I have become friends, and that you're just doing an amazing job. And anything we can do to help you, please let us know. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Toole, founder of Carpathic. Carpathic.
Yes.
With that, we are going to give away. We have AAAS coming up, and we love to give stuff away. I love. And in fact, Brian Kramer, who won, Holly Ann, don't let me forget this. He sent me a lovely picture. If you remember, we gave away a hotel stay and he picked the Four Seasons. So, and it was not a cheap room. Four Seasons is not cheap. Last time I stayed there, Lexus paid for it. So we did get the bill, but man, we loved paying that bill because we love our Tim Talk listeners. And thank you so much. Please follow us. Please send this out on your social media, because again, we just all need to get better together, and we want to give something else away. So I want to post that picture of Brian Kramer on our next Tim Talks deal. Him and his lovely family took his lovely family to Orlando in the Four Seasons, had an amazing meal, had an amazing night together, and we love giving back to people. With that said, if you register for Tim Talks, we are going to continue to give away passes to AAAS. We personally are going to be involved in what's called a digital retailing face-off against most of the digital retailing partners in the space right now. And then just other than that, just a lot of good content. We are going to be unpacking exactly this with, in my opinion, one of the best CMOs in the country. Sarah Fisher, and what she has done is absolutely phenomenal. And then just showing you what's happening in the market now. Basically, our talk is going to be the new lead and their ideal outcomes. So just really excited about that. And make sure that if you don't win, you register. But we're going to be giving away. Are we giving away, Holly Ann, today? Or are we giving away next week?
We are giving two away right now.
We're giving 2 away right now. I just wanted to see because I didn't see it on the screen. So we are giving. I should have had my little sound effects because I actually do have a little drum roll. So you have registered. We're giving away 2 tickets to AAAS Now. Be the hero of your dealership. Who is our winners, Holly Ann? Oh, Terry Neal, who basically just said that geofencing is like the Illuminati. So she also texted that in, she said, my sons say that it is like the Illuminati. So, wow, we couldn't have planned that better. Somebody chats in on Tim Talks, and that was not planned. Honest to goodness, I promise you guys, we have to, because we can't have someone say, well, you like that person or that person. And we literally have software that randomly picks out of the 600 plus people that have signed up for Tim Talks. So Terry Neal, congratulations. You're going to be a rock star and go to AAAS virtually. And Keith Hightower, congratulations to you, my friend. And again, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week. Next week, please tune in. We're going to have some more great content for you. Brian Toole, thank you so much, my brother. So You're great welcome. Can't wait till we go back up and I can hang out with Touchdown Jesus there at Notre Dame. We just watched Rudy. My wife watched Rudy the other night for the first time. I can't even believe it. And great now story. Somehow has become a Notre Dame fan. So we're going to have to baptize her and get that clean. I don't know what's going on, but man, we love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, no one is ever smarter than everyone, and let's continue to get better together. We will see you next week. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brian. See you guys soon.